Hey there, this is Linda and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In this video, I'm putting together the week of April 24th through April 30th, 2023 in my Project Life album. This also happened to be the week that I documented Week in the Life. So I had a little bit of fun with this in my album here, as you'll see shortly. I am not working with a kit this week. Instead, I'm working with items from my stash, and my primary focus are these ING word cards that I actually filled out during the week as I was collecting my content for Week in the Life. And I specifically was filling these out with the intention that they would show up in my Project Life album. Okay, without for anything else to say, let's go ahead and dive into the content. Okay, so this is the week of April 24th through 30th, which was Week in the Life, which I documented separately, and I created an entire album that was documenting this week. So I don't really have to do much in this album, in my Project Life album, because this entire week is documented so thoroughly in my Week in the Life album, which is separate. It's a separate 6x8 album, and if you're curious to see that, I have already completed that album. And I have a flip through video of my completed album here on my channel, which I will link for you up in the corner. For my Project Life spread, what I did during the week itself is I took these cards, which I believe were in a Week in the Life kit from a previous year, I think. I'm unsure. I can't recall exactly where they were. I think they were from Week in the Life in a previous year, but I think they were 4x6 and I cut them down. But they are like, I think 3x3 squares, hi pumpkin. And I have 7 of them, and I made a note on the back which one is which day, because I do need to pair these with a title for each day. So I'm just kind of like laying them out right now in order. So I have, this is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, which I feel like maybe that works. So here's my Monday photo. And then I printed photos for every day of the week that are actually photos of me looking down at my feet. And I'm going to try my best to pair them with the words that go with them, but it's not going to work perfectly because this is the Wednesday and that's the Wednesday words. And they just, because of the evenness of the page. But that's kind of my original layout. Then I went into my stash and I pulled out this card, which I think will be great for my title card. I'm just going to go ahead and add the dates on there. And then I was looking for something to include here. So I found this one, which is super old, that I love, but I don't think I want to include it. Instead, I decided to use this one. I think this one is an older card from Studio Calico, and I like it as an idea to do like an overview of the week. The one thing that really throws me off with this card is the Sunday start, and my Week in the Life and my weeks are Monday start. So it would kind of really start from here, and then the Sunday would be at the end, which is fine. But that's one thing I don't love about it. I also don't love that it's still rounded corners because it's so old. It's been in my stash for a long time, but I do actually love this card so much that I have used it in the past, and I bought this kit twice because it was so cute, which is why I still have it. And I'm sure I will use it at some point, but instead I pulled this one out, which is from a story kit. I don't recall which one, but it's more recent. And I'm just going to write 5 observations overall from this week. And I will just pull that from my Week in the Life album. So I have my Week in the Life album here. And we'll flip through this kind of as I'm working on my project here to kind of remember some of the stories that I might want to tell or highlights that I might want to put here. I also might want to do some stamping. I'm not sure. The first thing I want to think about though is, do I want to add any embellishing? Oh, this one's upside down. Do I want to add any embellishing to these to add like the day of the week? And I'm thinking maybe like an alpha sticker of like the first letter of the day. Or I could look in my stash for days of the week embellishments. And then for these, do I want to add anything, or what do I want to add here? Because I need something to make this a full 3x4. So I was thinking I'm going to try to stash bust and look in my stash for some patterned cards that are the colors. So in my Week in the Life album, and in a lot of my projects and planning, I have like a color of the day that goes in rainbow order. So Monday is red, and then Tuesday is orange, and it continues along like that. Wednesday is yellow in the rainbow order. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to look in my stash for cards for Project Life cards that are just kind of basic patterns that can be background patterns for these. And I'm thinking I might just center these on the cards depending on which ones I pick out and put those here, and then add something to kind of indicate the day of the week. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over to my stash and grab those cards, and I will go through and pick out those colors now.
So in my Project Life card organization, I have organized solid or like large patterns based on the primary color in the pattern. So you can see here, I'm going through each card stack from my Project Life card organization of each color and finding one that I like for this spread. I'm not really having any sort of rule as I'm selecting, but I'm just kind of going with one that I like, and it's a great way to kind of use up my stash. And if you're curious to know more about how I organize my Project Life cards, I do have a full video on that here on my YouTube channel, and I will link that up in the corner for you now. I also have my purple and pink ones here combined together because for some reason that really frustrates me is there's just not a lot of purple scrapbooking supplies.
Okay, so I went in my stash and I found these stickers that were from an older Week in the Life release. The colors aren't exactly perfect with what I would do if I was doing it, because I do like to have things in rainbow order, but they're close. Instead of doing orange, they put the yellow on Tuesday and have a pink here, and then they don't have purple, which is pretty typical for scrapbook supplies. I don't know why they're always missing purple, but I love to do rainbow things, and for whatever reason, a lot of scrapbook supplies don't come in purple. I don't know if you noticed while I was going through my cards, there just wasn't a ton of purple, but I did have some, so that was great. I also selected a card with rounded corners here, which is totally fine because I'm going to fix this so that the rounded corners don't show. And this is just a little trick that I've done in the past. So basically you're going to cut the card in the middle. This only works in a situation like this where you are covering it. And then I'm just going to grab some washi tape. And this is just a random washi tape, not one that I care about really. So it's just, I mean, it's a perfectly fine washi tape roll, but you're just getting a random one to attach these together. And then you're going to adhere them back together like this. So now you have a 3x4 card with the rounded corners in the middle, which doesn't matter because I'm covering up the middle with this card. And now it's turned into a squared corner card, which is great. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of some of these need to be trimmed down a little bit. There was a little bit of like color left along the top, and I want to just make them as tight as possible. And then I pulled over these thinking I could use these potentially. So like this one's Tuesday, so I would just put a T right here in the center. And so I think I need to maybe not put these all the way centered. I'm going to put them down a little like this, so there's plenty of space for that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that T on there. I like that. And then adhere this down right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the cards. And I'll put you on fast forward while I do that because it will be, you know, just kind of a repetitive process. Now this is not perfectly lined up, so I'm just going to trim it here. And there's my Tuesday words, which is great. And then my Tuesday photo here, I'm going to take this sticker, and I'm thinking I'm going to put these near the top. This one's upside down. Well, for that one, I'll have to put in the middle. So maybe I won't put them in the same spot in every photo, but I'm going to just mark each of these photos with a word so you know which one is which. And then on here, I think I need to grab a label sticker. Okay, so this one, here's some label stickers. I think I'm going to use this. And I'm just going to put this along the side because that quote kind of fills it up. And then I'm just going to stick this on here. This is this week, sideways. And then I'm going to trim this off and add my dates onto this label. Now, I wish I had one that said week in the life, but I think I'll be able to figure that out, and maybe for one of the observations, I will add week in the life on there so one of the things that I do want to do in my Project Life album when I'm documenting week in the life is I want to make clear that this is week in the life. So if you want more information about this week when you're flipping through this album, it exists. Go find my week in the life album. And sometimes I do document this week in more detail in my Project Life. Sometimes I document it very minimally, but I do always include it. And I know some people just skip this week entirely, but I want there to be a recognition of it because I like that this is a snapshot of my entire year, and this week was part of my year. So I do have the entire thing included on here, but I don't have to tell the thorough story here. And if you're flipping through this album and you want to see more or read more details about this week or see more photos from this week, then you can go and look at my Week in the Life album. So here's the Monday words. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on fast forward and finish up this spread.
Okay, so this one is going to come together really quickly because it is so repetitive and I'm using a formula, which is something that I don't always do on my Project Life spreads, but I do it pretty frequently, and I do usually do it in my Week in the Life album. So I guess I'm just kind of in formula mode here because I did just complete the album itself for Week in the Life, and now I'm catching up on my Project Life. So I'm just going through and adhering all of these down and adding my little sticker at the top for all my journal cards. And then on the photos, I added all of those days of the week stickers, and they're just kind of in random places on the sticker or on the photo, depending on what the photo is of and what I didn't want covered up. This one here, I had realized I needed to trim it down after I put adhesive on it. So I just had it kind of stick to my trimmer there, but it worked out fine. My cat was really wanting to sit right here in the window because I do craft right in front of the window. So I'm sorry for him walking through the video so much, but he did thankfully move on. So for this observation card, I originally was considering just doing some writing, but instead I decided to do some stamping. And so what I'm doing is I'm stamping out kind of a title for each observation that I decided to write here, and then I'm going to add some journaling next to it. And these are just kind of some overview reflections on the week, nothing really that big. The first one is that I was documenting Week in the Life, which I wanted to kind of make a note of on the spread somewhere that this was in fact Week in the Life, because that way I know that when I'm flipping back through it, if someone else is flipping through it and they want more of the story from this week, you can get it in that Week in the Life album. I also am documenting here that this was a difficult week and that this was a busy week. And let's see, I put that I got my hair dyed, and I don't remember what else I put. I will see it here as I stamp it out really soon. But I did just kind of do some overviews and of what was going on this week. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read it. Oh, this was about my phone. Yeah, so I had so many issues with my iPhone. I got a new iPhone right before Week in the Life, and I thought, oh, that's amazing timing. It wasn't intended I didn't get it because of Week in the Life, but it was great timing because I thought, oh, my photos are going to be better. But I had all these issues with my iPhone, and I had to go back to the Apple Store, which was a huge story on my Saturday. And you can see my Saturday photo there is me holding the little bag from the Apple Store with the box from my new phone, my third new phone, because they kept messing it up. So then I'm just adding a little bit of journaling here about documenting Week in the Life and about how this was a really difficult week, which was kind of frustrating because it was Week in the Life, and right now in life is actually pretty good. So it was just kind of one rough week in the middle of a lot of good, which was just kind of a little bit of frustration, but I did document that here. This was also a super busy week, but that is pretty typical right now. Life is very busy, so I journaled about that. I journaled about my phone and my annoyance with the Apple Store, and then I journaled about getting my hair done. I had a hair appointment scheduled on Saturday, and I had dyed my hair red last October, which was the first time I had dyed it a different color besides blonde ever. and I have been blonde since my early 20s, so for a very long time. And I decided to go back to blonde this week. And I liked that I did the red for a change, but I'm happy to be back as a blonde. And I'm not fully blonde yet. I just did a little bit this week, but next time I go, I will get way more highlights. So anyways, that is wrapping up this week in my album. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I'm just going ahead and sliding everything into the pockets and trimming them down. I don't know if I commented on it earlier, but I did switch the Wednesday and Tuesday photos, their placement, so that the Wednesday photo at the top there would actually be next to the Wednesday words that are on the right-hand side. So here's a look at the completed spread, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for being here, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss my future videos. Thanks. Bye.